Rome began with a murder, a stolen city, and 2 abandoned babies drinking from a wolf. Yet its laws, languages, architecture, and ideas still shape our world today. Understanding Rome isn't just about the past. It explains the foundations of our politics, our religions, and even our cities. In this video, we'll explore how Rome rose from a mythical village on the Tiber to an empire that dominated the Mediterranean for over 1,000 years. Mythical origins. Rome's legendary story begins in Alba Longa, a Latin city near the future site of Rome. There, twin boys, Romulus and Remus, were born to a priestess and the war god Mars. Their great-uncle, fearing they might one day challenge his power, ordered the newborns killed. The infants were abandoned by the river, but instead of dying, they were famously nursed by a she-wolf and later raised by a poor shepherd and his wife. As they grew up, Romulus and Remus became natural leaders and decided to found a city of their own. But ambition quickly turned to rivalry. A dispute over where the new city should stand escalated until Romulus killed his brother. Rome's first act was fratricide, a fitting omen for a state that would be both brilliant and brutal. Romulus became Rome's first king and set the tone for its future. He declared Rome an asylum city, a refuge for fugitives, exiles, and outcasts from across Italy. The city filled quickly, but its population was overwhelmingly male and included many dangerous characters. To secure wives for his new citizens, Romulus invited neighboring peoples, including the Sabines, to a festival, then ordered the abduction of their young women. This shocking event, remembered as the Assault of the Sabine Women, nearly led to war. Instead, negotiations followed, and the Sabines eventually agreed to unite with the Romans. Romulus and the Sabine king, Titus Tatius, ruled jointly over a single, expanded community. Kings and the birth of the Republic. Rome's early monarchy was marked by both innovation and violence. Titus Tatius died during a riot, and Romulus himself later vanished in a storm. According to legend, he was taken up to the heavens and became the god Quirinus. More likely, he was killed by political rivals who then wrapped the murder in myth. The second king, Numa Pompilius, was very different from the warrior Romulus. He brought peace and religion. Under Numa, Rome gained its 12-month calendar, the Vestal Virgins, and the office of Pontifex, the chief priest. Over time, 5 more kings followed, some remembered as builders, others as conquerors, and some as tyrants. The last king, Tarquin the Proud, seized power by murdering his predecessor. His arrogant rule and the crimes of his family, especially the rape of a noblewoman, Lucretia, finally pushed the Roman elite too far. Around the late 6th century BCE, the people overthrew Tarquin, abolished the monarchy, and founded the Roman Republic. The new system claimed to be a free state, but power remained in the hands of a small number of aristocratic families, the patricians. They dominated politics, religion, and the highest offices. The majority of Romans, the plebeians, had few rights and little formal influence. Over the next 2 centuries, plebeians fought for political access through strikes, protests, and even leaving the city. Their struggles slowly produced change: the Concilium Plebis, or People's Assembly, tribunes to defend plebeian interests, and the 12 Tables, Rome's first written laws. Wealthy plebeians, the equestrian class, gradually gained legal equality with patricians. But beneath these reforms, poverty and inequality remained widespread. While Rome's social order shifted, its armies expanded. Through almost constant warfare, Rome conquered the Italian peninsula. By 130 BCE, after defeating Carthage in the Punic Wars and extending its reach into Spain and North Africa, Rome had become a Mediterranean superpower. Crisis of the Republic. Rome's success created new problems: vast wealth, corruption, and powerful generals. The consul Gaius Marius reformed the army, making it a professional force. By paying soldiers and promising them land at retirement, he opened military service to the poor. But this meant soldiers now depended on their commanders for their future, and loyalty drifted from the state to individual generals. In 88 BCE, the tensions exploded. Marius's rival, the general Sulla, marched his army on Rome itself, something no Roman commander was supposed to do. Civil war followed. Sulla emerged victorious and became dictator, killing his enemies and rewriting the constitution. He restored order in the short term, but showed the Roman elite that political power could be seized by force. A generation later, Julius Caesar pushed this logic to its conclusion. As the victorious general of Gaul, he was immensely popular with his soldiers and many ordinary Romans, but feared by the Senate and by his former ally, Pompey. In 49 BCE, ordered to disband his army, Caesar instead crossed the Rubicon River into Italy with his troops, openly defying the Senate. Another civil war broke out. Pompey fled to Egypt, where he was murdered on the orders of the boy pharaoh Ptolemy XIII, who hoped to impress Caesar. The plan failed. Caesar was disgusted by Pompey's assassination and turned against Ptolemy. In Egypt, he met Ptolemy's sister, Cleopatra. Their political alliance quickly became a love affair. With Caesar's backing, Cleopatra took the throne, and Ptolemy died in the struggle. Back in Rome, Caesar showed remarkable clemency to many of his defeated enemies, which increased his popularity with the people but terrified the aristocracy. The Senate made him dictator first for 10 years, then, in 44 BCE, dictator for life. For many senators, this looked too much like a return to monarchy. On the Ides of March, around 40 of them stabbed Caesar to death in the Senate House, claiming to liberate the Republic. Instead, they unleashed yet another round of civil wars. Caesar's ally, Mark Antony, his lover Cleopatra, and Caesar's adopted heir Octavian all vied for power. In the end, Octavian defeated Antony and Cleopatra, annexed Egypt, and stood alone at the head of Rome. The Republic was finished. A new kind of regime was about to begin. The Principate, Augustus to Nero. Octavian took the name Augustus and became the first Roman emperor in 27 BCE. Officially, the Republic still existed. Magistrates were elected, and the Senate continued to meet. In practice, Augustus controlled the army, foreign policy, and the key levers of power. The Senate's main role was to ratify his decisions. Augustus's 41-year reign brought relative peace after a century of civil wars. This period, known as the Pax Romana, saw trade, culture, and urban life flourish. Augustus reorganized the provinces, created a standing army and the Praetorian Guard, set up a courier network, and gave Rome its first formal police and fire services. He also embarked on large-scale building projects, transforming the city's appearance and infrastructure. Rome expanded into Central Europe and completed its hold over Spain. Yet the empire's power had limits. In 9 AD, 3 legions were annihilated in the Teutoburg Forest in Germania, a defeat that effectively ended Roman ambitions to fully conquer that region. When Augustus died in 14 AD, his stepson Tiberius took over. Tiberius was a competent but withdrawn ruler who increasingly left day-to-day power to Sejanus, the ambitious head of the Praetorian Guard. Sejanus eliminated potential rivals, including members of the imperial family. Once Tiberius discovered this, he had Sejanus executed. But by then, the emperor had become deeply paranoid and ordered a series of purges. Rumors later claimed that his successor, Caligula, helped bring about his death in 37 AD. Caligula began his reign with goodwill and popular support, but his rule soon descended into cruelty and excess. He declared himself a living god, humiliated the Senate, executed opponents, and is said to have slept with his own sisters. After 4 turbulent years, members of the Praetorian Guard assassinated him. They then elevated his uncle Claudius, an unlikely emperor dismissed for years because of his physical disabilities and bookish nature. Claudius turned out to be an efficient administrator. He expanded citizenship, reformed the bureaucracy, and invested in roads, aqueducts, and canals. Under his leadership, Rome began the conquest of Britain. In 54 AD, he died. Many ancient sources suggest he was poisoned by his wife Agrippina, who wanted the throne for her son, Nero. Nero's reign combined artistic vanity with political terror. In 64 AD, a great fire devastated Rome. Whether or not Nero fiddled while Rome burned, he used Christians as scapegoats, subjecting them to brutal punishments. He also spent lavishly on his own palaces and performances, worsening the empire's finances. As opposition grew among senators and generals, the army finally turned on him. Declared an enemy of the state, Nero committed suicide in 68 AD, ending the Julio-Claudian line. Crisis, reform, and Christian empire. Nero's death led to another succession crisis, the Year of the Four Emperors, before stability returned under the Flavians and later under the so-called Good Emperors of the 2nd century. Under rulers like Trajan, Hadrian, and Marcus Aurelius, the empire reached its greatest extent and enjoyed a long period of relative stability. But after Marcus Aurelius, the system began to break down. The 3rd century brought the imperial crisis, economic troubles, external invasions, and rapid turnover of emperors, many of whom were military strongmen raised and killed by their own troops. In 284 AD, Diocletian, a former soldier, managed to restore order with radical reforms. He divided the empire into eastern and western halves, each ruled by an Augustus with a junior colleague, a Caesar beneath him, the Tetrarchy, or Rule of Four. This structure improved administration and defense, but also formalized the split between Greek-speaking East and Latin-speaking West. Diocletian demanded religious unity and persecuted Christians who refused to worship the emperor. Churches were destroyed and scriptures burned, but persecution only strengthened Christian identity. When Diocletian and his co-emperor Maximian abdicated in 305 AD, a struggle for succession followed. Out of this chaos emerged Constantine, son of a former Caesar. After securing the Western Empire, he defeated his rival Licinius in the east in 324 AD and reunified the empire under his sole rule. Constantine legalized Christianity and granted it imperial favor while still tolerating traditional cults. Under him, Christianity grew rapidly, and older practices like gladiatorial games, large-scale pagan sacrifices, and crucifixion as a punishment were gradually abandoned. Constantine also shifted the empire's center of gravity. In the 320s, he founded a new imperial capital on the site of Byzantium, strategically located between Europe and Asia. Called New Rome, during his life and later known as Constantinople, it became the political and economic heart of the Eastern Empire. After Constantine, the Roman world slowly divided again into Eastern and Western halves. The Western Empire, weakened by internal conflict, economic decline, and constant pressure from migrating and invading groups, finally collapsed in 476 AD when the last Western emperor was deposed. The Eastern Empire, what we call the Byzantine Empire, survived for nearly another 1,000 years, preserving Roman law, administration, and culture until its fall to the Ottoman Turks in 1453. In one form or another, Rome had lasted more than a millennium. Rome began with a wolf, a murder, and a city of outcasts, and ended as a Christian empire split between East and West. But its ideas still define how we live. Do you think Rome's fall was inevitable, or could different choices have kept the empire alive longer? If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to Atlas of History for more stories like this.